Right, greetings, how do? You know what, I realise I look like a fucking 14-year-old girl going onto the internet and talking about fucking my exes or whatever, but like, this story's fucking mental. Also, not really an ex. This isn't someone I count as an ex, this is someone I was talking to for 9 days, but I swear down, everything I say in this story is true, not exaggerated in the slightest. In the future, just because it's funny, I might tell some bollocks stories, I might exaggerate shit. This story, I swear down, is 100% real. Alright, so how did I meet her? I added loads of people on quick add on Snapchat, bang, done. We got talking for fucking whatever reason, because on Snapchat you just fucking send like blank pictures of your wall, and then maybe if someone asks you something you get fucking talking. She was telling me how she likes video games and all that bollocks. I mean, I don't like video games. If I'm using video games on this video, it's not me playing it, I've just nicked it off some other YouTuber. Yeah, fucking sue me, bitch. But after about a day, she was mentioning fucking moving out and shit, and I was like, yeah, I've always wanted to do that someday. It's funny, because when she was on about moving out, that's when she said she got feelings for me, and she was saying how she couldn't move out if I didn't fucking like go with her. She worked 5 days a week, and we lived at the complete opposite ends of the town, so it was quite hard to meet. She also kept telling me about all the things that would make her leave and lose interest, so that was obviously a red flag, but I didn't really care because I never really liked her, to be honest. I just spoke to her because who the fuck else is going to talk to me? She started sending semi-revealing pictures and asked if I wanted to go to Spoons. Turns out fucking everyone's got her nudes, which I could kind of tell. Like, she did come across as a bit of a casual slag. Yeah, but anyway, she asked if I wanted to go to Spoons, and I thought England were playing because I'd got my days mixed up, but I didn't really care, so I decided I'd just go with her. Like, I didn't really care about watching the England game. She didn't want to go like fucking clubbing her out, no, she just wanted to sit at fucking Wetherspoons drinking on a Saturday from 6 till 1. So 7 fucking hours sat down drinking in the same spot with one drunk retard. Yeah, that sounds like a dreadful fucking day, but not to her. Like, she was looking for flats. She had 2 flat viewings and they both got cancelled, probably because they figured she was a dickhead. But no, they just gave them other people instead, probably people who could afford them but were a bit older than fucking 18. She was telling me how she should be banned off TikTok. Don't know how she got this fucking in the conversation, but I was thinking to myself, I don't give a fuck. You attention-seeking cunt! But she showed me a TikTok, which is an app which I don't have. All of her videos were just her saying why her life's so hard, why she's lesbian, non-binary, bisexual, traumatized, fucking victimizing the shit out of herself. And I could tell I just didn't like some of her friends by the way they were fucking acting on video. So naturally I told her that her videos were really good. They weren't. Her videos were shit, and it just made, like, there were so many red flags about this lass, honestly. Later that day, right, I asked my best friend, I have a lot of best friends, but I asked him if he knew who she was, and he said yes. She'd lied about 3 boys who'd never been accused by anyone else. He gave me so many reasons to avoid her. I already knew that she was someone to avoid, but I fucking went along with it anyway. And so the next day I met her in real life. This was on a Friday before a football match, like I say, so I was only walking her home. I was with her for like not even 2 hours. This wasn't the England game, by the way. This was like my actual team I support I was watching. So yeah, I was with her for not even 2 hours, and she was telling me how she wanted to be a porn star, and she was chatting the most shit. I mean, she told me like previously not to expect sex because she hated everything about it. But then she was telling me about how she'd shagged in every corner of the house. Like, I never asked. So she shared a room with her mum, which was something that I found out, right? And she was telling me how she'd fucked people whilst her mum was asleep. And she warned me that as soon as I fucking entered the house, I was gonna get quizzed by her uncle. She didn't elaborate, so I was in for a fucking shock when I walked through the door. I was incredibly polite, right? I asked if I should take my shoes off, and all they said was, look at this shithole, look at the carpet. Do you look like you need to take your shoes off? Her family were playing drunk darts in the living room. They looked like a bunch of fucking drug addicts. So after one step in, right, I was yelled at by her uncle, and he asked me if I was gay. And, you know, so I took a seat on a fucking chair with no back. Terrific manners, may I say. But here, I'm not royalty, so I don't care. Like, I was told that I couldn't go upstairs or anything. Like, literally, I walked in, it was like, you can't go upstairs, are you gay? I was in shock. I knew this girl, right, was claiming to be bisexual. I mean, she fucking wasn't, but she was saying she was. So I knew they didn't have any issues with being gay. And so that's what I said. I said, I don't have an issue with anyone being gay. And so his fucking uncle took that like I wanted to be fucking bummed up the arse. Throughout the entire time, right, he was giving graphic descriptions of what guys' arseholes looked like. So even though she was apparently fucking bisexual, he was the most homophobic person that I have ever met. Then there was her mum. Lots of hair on her head, right? But there was a picture on the wall of her as a bald person. She said she had leukemia and she laughed about it and said she was joking. There was one time that she even shouted out the fucking N-word, And I didn't even have an issue with any of this, by the way. I just thought it's not too bright to say this to someone that she's just met for the first time. She shouted the N-word at me. I don't know why. Like, this is the first time you've ever met me. You've told me you had leukemia and joked about it. Shouted the fucking N-word at me in like a derogatory manner. Like, I don't care. I'm not offended. I don't get offended by anything. I don't mind. But like, you think you'd be a little bit fucking careful. Like, if you said this to some people, it's very fucking close to a knuckle. You're just not too bright to say that. Like, your fucking daughter's brought someone home, and this has happened. And this part, like, is the maddest fucking part. Like, so I was sat down on, like, some fucking brick, right? But it had, like, a gap underneath the chair. And so her mum, right, wanted to get something from underneath the chair where my legs were. So obviously I had to fucking spread my legs, right? So her mum, as her daughter is sat right next to me, her mum, I'm not even joking, fucking got on her knees, right? Crawled over to me, looked up to me like she was a fucking Riley Reid but on crack, and said, spread 'em. And I looked at, like, a fucking daughter, and she was like, just do it. What do you mean, just do it? So I didn't fucking spread me legs in the slightest. I fucking got up off this little fucking brick chair and just, like, let her fucking get what she needed from underneath it. And then she got on with playing drunk darts again. Like, she literally got on her knees, like, in front of a lass who'd send me messages saying she'll end up marrying me, which you fucking won't ever. And she'd said, spread your legs, baby, whilst looking up at me. Crackhead Riley Reid, honestly. Oh, fucking hell. And then the lass's younger brother came down, right, and he was talking about how rough he was. By the way, everyone in this house was skinny as fuck. He was talking about how he could bat anyone. He literally couldn't. I don't even think he knew what the fucking day of the week was. I don't think he even knows what the fuck a Tuesday is. Like, him and his uncle had threatened me about 50 combined times in the last 45 minutes when I was in the house. I'd been nothing but nice to them. They're skinny as fuck, man. Like, they're not gonna fucking bat anyone. I had a very nice chat with a granddad who I was sat next to. He was the only normal one, a very respectable guy. But he told me how he'd waited for fucking football coaches in the past and decided to fucking chuck bricks at them. But you know what, like, I don't actually fucking mind all that shit, to be honest. As long as it's not my fucking car, I don't care. Anyway, they decided to order a takeaway, and it ended up with just me, the girl, and her uncle in the room, right? Because they were all fucking left to order some shit. And despite telling me how much he hated me being gay, even though I said I never said I was, he was saying to me, let's be real here, you'd fuck her if you had the chance. These words didn't mean anything to me because I knew he was a fucking idiot, but he managed to figure out that I might just sleep with a lass who's chatting to me. Mate, of course I was going to shag her. Why else was I talking to her? She's a fucking rat. Like, I don't want to take her on a fucking romantic fucking meal or anything, and I don't want to actually spend any time with her. Like, yeah, I want to shag her. She previously asked if she was the only girl that I was talking to, and I said yes, but I never had feelings for her, so I lied. I was chatting to so many girls, and I just blatantly lied. Like, she thinks that I was only talking to her. Anyway, we were meant to meet another day, the next day in Wetherspoons, but she said she had something going on with her family, so she had to cancel it. And I was like, yeah, get in. I don't have to spend 7 fucking hours sat down next to a fucking drunk retard, because I'd already been very put off by her family. I was put off by her before I even met her family, to be honest. Anyway, later that day, she ended up snapping me. She was drinking. I mean, it didn't exactly look like a fucking family issue, but she was drinking, and then she ended up walking home, and she was snapping me again on Snapchat, saying she was walking home. Yeah, I thought she had a family emergency, so I asked where she was, and she didn't know. She made it sound so much like she was with another guy. So the next day was Sunday, and she'd asked me Friday when walking home if I'd meet her to get her nails done, which sounded fucking shit again, so I said yes. Sitting down next to her, bored as she gets plastic put on her fingers for £30, which is catfishing anyway, just so she could probably end up asking me to pay. Does not sound like a fucking fun day. Anyway, I set my alarm for 10 o'clock to meet her, right? But I had an issue that night where I just couldn't get any sleep. So when I eventually got to sleep, it was 7:30. And then when I woke up, it was 3:30, and I was like, fuck. I've not shown up like I said I would, so I drastically checked my phone and sent 2 whole messages saying hi. I said hello. What else was I meant to do? It was fair games, I thought, because she'd already not shown up the fucking day before, even though that was probably a good thing. Like, she'd not shown up the day before, and she'd told me every problem she'd ever fucking had, as well as a load of made-up ones. So that was enough for her to stop talking to me altogether. I think that just further proves that she was with another guy the day before. And she started telling me about all the things I'd done wrong in the couple hours that I met her. Like, I barely fucking said a word, to be honest. I couldn't get one in. Her family was constantly shouting shit. All we did was walk home and sit down, and I couldn't believe she said this, but apparently I made her family feel uncomfortable, which fucking shocked me. Like, mate, look at it from someone else's point of view. Her mum was on her knees, looking up to me like a smack rat Riley Reid. She said that I shouldn't have told her uncle that I don't mind people being gay. First of all, I'm not a fucking mind reader, and also, right, I swear she had a gay pride flag in her fucking bedroom, which I'd seen on TikTok. But above all, right, I don't want to know people who are full of hate for people who consensually have gay sex. If it's not for you, don't fucking talk about it. Like, you can find it fucking grim. Like, at the end of the day, like, if two people want to do it, it's not fucking hurting anyone. So, right, out of interest, right, I asked her if she still wanted to move out. By the way, right, my dad charges me a very fair price to live in his house, right, and I don't mind paying it in the slightest. If I moved out with her, right, I would be in a worse place of living, because I actually, to be fair, I have a very nice house. I'd live in a very shit house with her, near town. I live on the outskirts of town, which is brilliant. I'd live right in the middle of town, right where fucking everyone's being a dickhead. I probably wouldn't be able to get any sleep ever, and I'd be living with a bitch. Also, I'd be paying about fucking 5 times the price. Like, I'd have to buy these shit fucking couches and everything and all that I just don't want. Like, nah man, like, why the fuck would I move out? Realistically, I literally wanted to shag her and fuck off, to be honest. Yeah, but I asked her if she still wanted to move out. She said that she felt like I was using her to move out. Was I fuck? Like, my monthly bills would have fucking more than tripled twice. My standard of living would have dropped crazy. Also, I'd have had to fucking do a lot more work. And she's the one who fucking proposed the idea to me of fucking moving out and said she couldn't do it without us. She then went back to how I made her uncle uncomfortable by not being homophobic, and it's like, why am I even arguing with a woman? Like, I said to her, you claim to be bisexual. He asked me if I was gay. Should I just lie and say I hate them? You've clearly stated on TikTok that you like men and women. You'd have answered the question in an even more bent way than me, and her response to that is that they're not homophobic and that she's not gay, she's pansexual. Whatever the fuck that means. Like, she says she likes men and women. That makes you bi, but she also said she just likes women. That makes you a fucking lesbian. If you don't like either, you're just a boring cunt. And if you like men, you're fucking gay, even if you're a woman. If you don't like either, you're just a fucking... You're either a preteen or you are just boring as fuck. Like, how is he not homophobic? And he's having a go at me for one answer I gave to a question he asked. He was fucking banging on all night about gay people. He was very defensive. Before I'd told any of my friends about her, I asked a few people about her again, and I was told, stay away. I asked my best friend, obviously, before I knew who she was. I asked someone else, they were like, stay away. And then one of my other good friends heard about it, and he was asking me, did you shag her? And I was like, no, I didn't. And he was like, that is fucking good, because she'd have accused you of something. Because she's a fucking serial false accuser, apparently. But that all happened in the course of 9 days. 9 days, and I've never spoke to her since. I've removed her off Snapchat, to be honest. It took me quite a while to do that. I ended up sending her a blank snap again to see what her response would be, and she just fucking blanked us. That fucking just ended. We didn't do anything. We didn't fucking even hug, because I knew her family would fucking overreact. Well, actually, oh no, we did hug. Yeah, I got a hug out of it. Yeah, we met and we hugged, yeah. Fucking celebrations. I'll crank out a fucking beer to that one. Anyway, that's the story about some fucking mad bitch that I met. I get that little amounts of women that I fucking just rolled along with it. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this. I'll catch you later. Have a very enjoyable rest of your days, cunts.